So I remember the day that letter showed up. You know that feeling, right? That pit in your stomach from a debt collector you've never even heard of. For years, I figured I only had two choices: pay up or just ignore them and hope they go away. But then I found a third option: to actually fight back. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I launched a formal legal audit that completely turned the tables on them and forced them to prove they had any right to contact me at all.
This right here, this is the mindset that changes everything. A debt buyer is just a stranger demanding your money. So before you even think about paying, the most powerful thing you can do is simply say, prove it.
You know, it always starts with their opening move, that first letter or that phone call. And that first one I got, it was totally designed to make me panic, to make me feel trapped, so I just pay them without asking a single question.
And here's the first big secret they really hope you don't know. You're almost never dealing with the original company you owed money to. Nope, you're dealing with a debt buyer. Some third-party company that buys up old, written-off debt for pennies on the dollar, basically gambling that you won't know your rights.
I mean, just look at this gap. It's insane. They were coming after me for thousands of dollars for a debt they probably paid, what, $50 for? This whole business model, buying these huge spreadsheets of debt for cheap, is the exact reason they often don't have the original detailed paperwork to actually back up their claim.
But here's the cool part. Their business model has a huge vulnerability, and it's actually backed by federal law. I realized I wasn't defenseless here. I had a legal shield.
The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, or FDCPA for short, was literally created to stop collectors from using shady or abusive tactics. It puts the burden of proof squarely on their shoulders, forcing them to validate every single claim they make.
Now this table is super important because it shows you exactly where you take control. See, the collector has to send you a validation notice. That's on them. But the real game changer for me was when I sent back a formal verification request. That was me, the consumer, officially kicking off the audit.
All right, this number, burn it into your brain. 30 days. I knew I had exactly 30 days from when they first contacted me to get my written dispute in the mail. If you miss that window, you lose some of your most powerful legal protections. The clock was definitely ticking.
Okay, this is where I stopped playing defense and went on the offense. I wasn't just writing some letter to complain, oh no. I was formally launching a legal audit and shifting the entire burden of proof off of my shoulders and putting it right back onto theirs. My entire strategy boiled down to these 3 steps, and every single one was non-negotiable. I wrote the letter to officially dispute it, I demanded very specific pieces of proof, and I sent it certified mail, which creates a legal paper trail they absolutely cannot deny receiving.
In my letter, I made sure to include this exact legal phrase. This wasn't just me casually asking. This was a formal demand under federal law. It's kind of like a secret handshake that tells the collector, hey, I know the rules of the game and I expect you to follow them.
So think of this as my demand list, my audit checklist. And each one of these things is a hurdle they had to clear to prove their case. They couldn't just give me 1 or 2 things. They had to provide everything, from the original contract all the way to that chain of title proving they actually owned the debt.
And that last point, the chain of title, oh man, that's where most of these cases completely fall apart. This was their Achilles heel, and I aimed right for it.
You've got to picture the journey this so-called debt took. It almost never goes straight from the original bank to the collector harassing you. It gets sold and resold, sometimes multiple times, creating this chain of ownership where every single link has to be documented.
And this was the million-dollar question my entire audit was designed to ask. If there is just one broken link, if they can't show me a bill of sale for every transaction that specifically names my account, their whole claim just crumbles. So when that chain is broken, you get to use this awesome legal defense called lack of standing. All it really means is they can't prove to a judge that they have any business suing you in the first place. If they lack standing, the case can get thrown right out. And here's the dirty little secret. This is why the chain is so often broken. They didn't buy a box with my original signed contract in it. They bought a massive data file. They bought my name on a spreadsheet. And in a court of law, a single line on a spreadsheet is not a contract. That's the knockout blow, right there.
So now that you've seen how I took their entire claim apart, let's connect the dots and turn my story into your blueprint for victory.
This chart right here, this is your playbook. See how it works? Every potential defense you have on the left is directly tied to a specific piece of evidence you demand on the right. You think the debt isn't theirs? Demand the complete chain of title. Think the amount is wrong? Demand the full payment history. You're using your demands to expose all the weak spots in their case.
And please, never ever forget this. Your job is not to prove you don't owe the debt. Your job is to make them meet their legal burden to prove that you do, and, this is the important part, that you owe it specifically to them.
And this, my friends, is the end game. This is checkmate. The moment they failed my legal audit, they couldn't just walk away. The law required them to stop all collection attempts and, get this, they had to contact the credit bureaus to get the negative item completely deleted from my record. Gone.
So this brings us to the final crucial question. If their legal case against me was built on such a flimsy, fragile foundation, what else are they hoping you don't find out? The whole debt collection industry counts on us feeling intimidated and uninformed. By understanding this process, you're not just fighting one debt, you are taking back the power.